All right, welcome back. So yesterday, when I was on the show with my uncle, that's actually today. That was after. So I took like a couple of hours break to come and do this taping. I was already covering this, so I'm just gonna run through real quickly. Emeka Ike. Who is Emeka Ike? Emeka Ike is somebody that we all grew up on. Okay, Nigerian Nollywood actor who was married up to 2017, I guess, to a lady called Susan Emma, apparently. Emeka Ike is now 56 years old. Emeka Ike is a Nigerian actor. He was a special guest in Monrovia on the occasion of the commissioning of the new pavilion of Center in Liberia. What does that have to do with anything? What? Anyway, he's 56 years old. He looks good for his age. He should keep it up, but he's gone through some traumatic experience, according to him, when it comes to marriage. And a lot of the comments, I found some of these comments quite interesting. Okay, and I will see if I can touch on some of the comments. Okay, actually, let me touch on some of that right now. I'm looking at some of this comment. The title on Channels TV, Robin Mind Show, which I'm going to play some clip within the fair use guidelines in a second. Somebody said, well, I said what he went through is crazy, right? Somebody said, I'm just stunned. Stay strong, Emeka. Apart from the fact that I believe him, I am particularly happy that he didn't end up begging, as most actors turn to immediately they have problems. Okay, that's a good one. Absolutely nobody is speaking up for men, neither ready to. All right, so here's the deal. This is going to be an unpopular opinion. I'm warning you right now. This is going to be an unpopular opinion. I believe the story he's told, but I believe that he has more work to do. Okay, and I generally address the person that is speaking. I don't address the other people until I've heard from them. I might make some assertions, I might make some assumptions. Yeah, because this is not a court, okay? I'm allowed to do that. But the reality from what I've seen in this story is that there's more to it than he's telling us, okay? He might not be his fault, he might not be completely aware that there's more to it, but there's more to it. But also, there's a lot of holes of lack of accountability in what he's saying. No one is perfect, right? So people should be able to say, well, this is what I could have improved on, this is what I forgot. If you're not saying any of that at all, I will look at you sideways, and I'm not judging you. I'm just saying you need to tell us the rest of the story. Anyway, but it's possible that you're not capable of telling us the rest of the story. So there's this video, I'm going to play it, and we're going to cover this really, really quickly. All right, the title is called this is the Robin Mind Show on Channels TV, which is usually anchored by either this young man here, I forgot his name now, or Ebuka. But anyway, let's play this video and let's see what he's talking about.
Where you rent those shops, you rent those booms that year, okay? All that just died for no reason.
All right, it's talking about the movie industry died for no reason, because everything went from DVDs or CDs or video CDs to decoders, when people can, I guess, I don't know what he meant by decoder. I don't know if he meant the CD copy machines. Anyway, bottom line is that there was big piracy and stuff like that. There's no accountability, like the majority of the actors and actresses that were affected at that time. There's no accountability. The industry or the world at large, welcome to the real world, is always evolving. And if you don't pay attention to how it's evolving, that's your fault. Okay, maybe not your fault, but ignorance is not an excuse. It's not an excuse in real life. I'm sorry. Okay, so already in this rhetoric here about how the movie, they asked him a question around the industry, where did it disappear to, and that was his answer, and that lacked accountability. And the way you behave, the way you act, the way you behave in certain aspects of life is how you tend to behave in everything else. Okay, so again, keep in mind the lack of accountability in all of this. I believe the story he told, I believe that was his experience. In terms of what he learned from it, it sounds like the only thing he learned from it is to avoid certain types of women. Sure, I think everyone should avoid certain types of women, but there's got to be more. Let's continue here.
No, the policy is everything. No, just one policy could change everything for the whole industry. And there were days of what do you call it? Where you go to rent films.
Yeah.
What do you call rent
houses?
Where you rent those shops, you rent those booms that year. Okay, all that just died for no reason.
Yeah.
And we're all now using video clubs, right?
The video club did not die for no reason. They died, like here in the United States, we had the blockbusters. They died for a good it's not a good, it's neither a good nor a bad reason. They died for a specific reason that the lesson is not they died for a reason, for no reason. That's not a lesson. You need to go back and do the work of why they died. All right, so that it doesn't repeat itself to you or your children, right? Because we're supposed to like gain more wisdom as we go along, right? So no, I disagree with him 100%. They died for specific reasons. Piracy was the product of certain direction that the world was moving, and what the Nollywood people, actors and actresses, what they did was they started calling their consumers thieves. That's what they were doing, and before they knew it, the industry changed on them. A lot of people lost money, and a lot of them could never come back. A lot of people took their space, took their place, because they understood the future of technology. Like, technology is not your mate, right? So when people find a way around to get access to something that they value, entertainment, from you, and you haven't figured out how to make sure that you monetize accordingly, I'm sorry. I know it's all a terrible experience, I know, and we should honor your experience first. But the lesson is not that they died for no reason. The lesson is not that your wife left your marriage for no reason. There are reasons, okay? And it's not enough to jump out on the internet or on a TV platform and advise men. The only advice you have for men is that you feel sorry for them. That's not enough. If you feel sorry for them, you need to help them in terms of navigating the world, this very, very dangerous, unfair world they find themselves in. You need to help them navigate it. If you're going to fearmonger, you need to add some value to that. Like, how can you navigate this? Because these men, their women in their society is a product of the men. The seeds came from the men, right? It's not a matter of it's your fault or not. It's a matter of just understanding how it works. The seeds came from men, right? And if these bad seeds are coming from men, then much accountability is necessary in this conversation. Accountability is not equal to blaming yourself. It just means you're able to see beyond for no reason. You're able to see beyond just pointing fingers, right? So you can already see this vibe already. Let's continue.
All died for no reason, and now we only get used to using decoders.
Yeah, already it's a failure. No, they didn't die for no reason. There's no such thing, and every leader knows that nothing dies or nothing happens for no reason. There's always a reason. Let's jump on to the next segment here. Let's see. Okay, hold on.
For the same people,
marital issues, and you are being accused of.
So what's the question they're asking him?
Touch on a very sensitive thing. You said, if you feel free to talk about it, please, because you did say something that you were going through marital issues and you were being accused of something you were not guilty of.
Yeah.
On the internet space, you never came out to clarify anything.
Yeah, it's difficult to clarify yourself because the same people that are bullying you on the internet, they are still there. They're going to say whatever you say. They were like, no, don't mind him. He's still missing her. Why go ahead, move on? They just make you feel like, what's going on? And if you are not prepared to handle it, you'll be crushed. Okay?
I agree with him on that. So what do we do with that? You make sure you're prepared. If you're going to get on a platform where there's a lot of attention, if you're going to live a life that attracts a lot of attention, like for example, an actor, actress, a leader, a boss at a job, attracts a lot of attention, to whom much is given, much is required. I agree with him, right? But we need to be prepared for that, as opposed to a Desmond Elliott or someone like this and say, hey, they're going to bully me. No, they're going to have opinions and they might drag you accordingly too. Yeah, but are we Are we glorifying it? No, it's just what's going to happen. You need to be prepared. The point of the statement that you should have made, or to say something, is to have it for the record. It's not so that people can be nice to you. Okay, if people hear something that they will, like, for example, for me right now, I hear this old rhetoric and I hear holes, right? I'm going to say something about it because that's the business I'm in. I create content, right? So I'm going to say something. I'm going to point out some lessons. Say, hey, this holes, what about this holes? What about this holes right here? For example, right? They're going to bully you. No, there's going to be trolls. That's the reality. I get trolls too. They come and get blocked all the time. Not by me, but the YouTube will screen it out itself, right? So it's just when you put yourself out there, that's just what it comes with, right? And someone like him of his caliber should understand that, because if he doesn't understand that, what does he end up doing? He points finger. There's going to be enough opportunities, enough of people you can point fingers at around you that are doing the wrong things. Some of them are your wives, some of them are your husbands, some of them are your bosses, some of them are just environmental factors, some of them is the rain, the sunshine, snow, right? These things will not be excuse for you not to hold yourself accountable, be responsible, and assume your position as a leader, right? Now, can that still fail? Yes, it can fail. What I'm saying is that from what he's saying right now, it's already sounding like, hey, it's everybody else's fault. And never mind, sounds like Tyrese. Somebody's gonna be like, that's a stretch. It can't be Tyrese. No, it's sounding like Tyrese heavily to me. But let's continue. Maybe I'm wrong.
Country school, St. Nicholas College on CMD Road, Magodo, was shut down. Over $480 million naira investment. That year, 480 million naira investment was shut down, and all I heard was constant battery.
Oh, wow.
I was always saying, look, I don't beat this lady. What's going on? I went on air. I was like, come on, I never did. Babe, what's going on? They say I beat you. Do I? No, but you're a star. You know, they can always manipulate things and all that. So
all right. So for me, if I don't know, everybody's life is different. But for me, let me just talk about me. If I'm hearing the news somewhere that, there's accusations of battery, I'm not coming home. I'm not necessarily coming home to say what's going on. I might come home to have a gist with the woman. I might laugh, right? I might actually just chuckle, like, do you see these people? Like, where's this crazy ass news coming from, right? I'm going to show somebody pepper. I'm going to file a lawsuit or something. Or I'm going to find out who the person is releasing this kind of crazy news. If I have time for it. If I don't have time for it, I probably will laugh about it. I'll be laughing about it with that woman. If that woman was my friend, my wife, my homie, my lover, my friend, that's what I'll be doing. I wouldn't be coming home to say, do I beat you? I wouldn't be doing that. Okay, now I don't know in your world, I don't know in his world, that may happen, and I mean that, I don't know, right? But to me, that doesn't sound like a reality I'm familiar with, unless I have issues with that lady already. Okay, now for example, let's say we engage in toxic argument all the time. Yes, I might come back and say, do I beat you? Why is this getting out there? Because we already have that kind of energy in that relationship, right? I might do that, right? But if nothing like that is remotely happening, I will probably be laughing all the way to the back. Now, so sorry that he lost the school and all that kind of stuff. Did he lost schools and lost documents to the school and his lands, landed properties, and there was issues, and there was issues with his family and his marriage, right? Yes. That's the part that I did not hear anything about, because if you're losing all this stuff, there'll be tension in your marriage too, because people don't necessarily know how to handle that. People are usually not prepared for this kind of crisis to hit a family, a marriage, right? But I didn't hear none of that. Maybe there was not enough time, right? I'm just saying. But let me go to this next segment here. Let's go.
St. Nicholas College on CMD Road, Magodo, was shut down. Over $480 million naira investment. That year, 480 million naira investment was shut down, and all I heard was constant battery. And I was always saying, look, I don't beat this lady. What's going on? I went on air. I was like, come on, I never did.
It sounds like it's like this lady. It sounds like a stranger. That doesn't sound like somebody's wife. Because if you're repeating that story, you'll be saying, I don't beat my wife. You will actually use the title, right? Not this lady, right? Or at least say my ex-wife. I'm just saying, these are the things I'm picking up that I'm like, I've got questions. It's not like I don't believe him. I believe he went through something terrible, but I would have questions if I had the opportunity. More questions to enlighten us about, what do you mean this lady? What was the relationship like? What was going on there? Was the relationship good? Or did you guys had any issues at home, even if it wasn't battery, right? But anyway, let me continue.
Especially, I don't know if you're married. I was asking someone so you don't even know that she's actually manipulating you. So I feel sorry for young men like you, especially.
So how did we jump from here? There's some in-betweens that I jumped through. I'm going to back it up a little bit so it doesn't look like I'm taking him out of context. Go watch the video yourself and you can come back here and we can talk about it. I would love to know what your thoughts are in the comments, right? But remember, the question here is that there's no ladies like this, okay? Because somebody's going to be like, there are women like this. Of course there are women like this. I just told you this is a very dangerous world, okay? It's a very, very dangerous world. But you will attract more women like this if you have a hard time holding yourself accountable. Because when you go through traumatic experiences, you have a hard time extracting lessons. Then you're going to keep attracting the same issue because it's always somebody else's fault. And you're forgetting the one common denominator in all of that, which is you. Right? So that's what I'm saying here. That's what I'm pointing out here. I believe his story. I believe he went through some shege with that woman. But what about the rest of the story? What did he learn from that? What he learned from it cannot possibly be, I feel sorry for you young men. Like, no, bro. Let's keep talking about you because the lessons are still in there somewhere.
So connecting with Malaika was very, very easy for me because you go through a lot of resilience, bottled up emotions, anger, confusion, misconstrued truths, making you feel manipulation, and you never know where it's...
So he's talking about the new movie that he's promoting. It's called Malaika, I guess, right? So he's saying the reasons why he connected with the character, right? Manipulation, this, that, right? Let's continue.
Coming from. Sometimes you want to please this person for the other person, but you don't even know that she's actually manipulating you. So I feel sorry for young men like you, especially. I don't know if you're married. I was asking someone at Aminu Kano airport yesterday. I just came through Saudi Arabia last night. I'm like, I'm sorry for the young men like you that are not married. Because the narrative out there is that it's all about the money. And when they come, they don't like you for nothing. You're just a blackmail issue. And you must be popular, you must be rich, you must be a very strong banker.
All right, so basically, according to him, people that are not rich and popular are not going through this. Once they just go for you, right? So, and of course, a lot of men are having these experiences, right? The men that are not having these experiences will not be attracted to this message. So when everybody that's attracted to this message are 100%, almost 100% of people that are empathizing with him because they've had something they can relate with in what he's saying, which is a woman showing you shege, right? They will hang on to it and say, yeah, so what happens is that they will still have to go back to deal with these ladies because, it is what it is. They have to deal with these ladies, quote unquote, these ladies, right? But they will have their guards up, right? They will naturally want to protect themselves. But you cannot, in that type of environment, with that type of mindset, you cannot nurture a healthy romantic relationship. You just can't, right? So the next best logical solution is actually to stay away from the ladies. But you won't do it because it's not natural. So what is the problem, right? This is definitely not a solution because these young men are going to go back to these women, right? And they're going to put their guards up, meaning healthy women will not be able to hang around them for long enough. A certain type of women who are ready to finesse them with, like, this one has money, right? They're going to attract what they fear the most, right? And then they're going to say, oh yeah, I knew it. and then they will go and tell the story more, and then continue to tell this negative stories, and then that basically occupy the minds of the regular people who are consuming this kind of content. So for me personally, I think kudos to him. Okay, he wants to warn the men against this type of manipulative women, but that's not enough. What else is the value? What else did you learn from that situation in the way you moved? Right? That attracted just so that they can also adjust, because they cannot control other people. This young man cannot control other. All they can control is themselves and how they move, right? Or unless you're telling me no matter how much you move, it's just God. Well, that's part of the problems. You don't know accountability. Remember, it must be somebody else's fault. It might be somebody from the village. It might be the lady's fault. It's everybody else's fault. Everybody's looking after. It's always. Money has always been a part of the formula. There's nothing special about that. Okay? There's nothing special about the fact that money is part of the formula. It is what it is. It's part of the equation, right? Now, especially in a country where people are hungry, right? To just find food for the stomach for the day. Of course, money is going to be a major motivation, right? But understanding this or knowing this as a fact is not enough. That is not the skills. That's not the game you're looking for. Fear is not part of the game. You already have fear. So in spite of fear, how are you going to put yourself out there and win? That's the game that Emeka Ike is probably not capable of sharing with you. Right?
A successful man to be a woman beater. No carpenter is a woman beater on the social space. No bricklayer is a woman beater on the social space. You have to be successful. And there are people like Iyabo Ojo that are there to back them.
There you go. Iyabo Ojo don't collect.
I say, hey, yes. Kilo day. Now, your experience as Iyabo Ojo might not be the same thing with that lady.
But this same thing accounts for what you're saying. You just said, I'm sorry for this young man. Right? Your experience might not be this young man's experience. The same thing is applicable. That's why whatever he's sharing right now is good for Cruz. Please empathize with him. It's a terrible thing for a man to go through this. But I'm trying to see where the lessons are. Where are the lessons? The lessons cannot possibly be just avoid women or any form of indirect message in that direction, such as I just feel sorry for you young man. Just feeling sorry for them is not enough, because they're gonna go have sex with these ladies and they will end up in child custody, battle, child support court and all this kind of stuff, or divorce court, because they never got the skills from the people that might have failed in the past. They never got the game. Maybe the people that failed in the past didn't have the game to share. But who's going to acknowledge that ever? Almost nobody will acknowledge that I did not have the game. I didn't have the skills. That's the first step. Say, I didn't know what I was doing. As opposed to, I was being manipulated. You could be manipulated, but what did you learn from that? Right? Without making it about it's your fault, because I never said it's your fault. How would you move in the future so you don't attract manipulative people? I want to hear more of that. And I did not hear that. Starting with the industry disappeared, whatever happened to them in the industry for no reason. DVD shut down and they brought decoder in. But like no, there's always a reason. Are you patient enough to extract the reasons, turn them to lessons so you can teach other people, as opposed to telling them that you feel sorry for them? You feeling sorry for them does not mean they won't collect woto, because they don't have the skills to deal with these women, and women got game. You heard it from Steve when he was here, right? They got game doesn't mean they're out to just want to get you. It's just that everybody's trying to survive, man. That's the reality. And there's a way you move as a man that they fall in line and they love you, and they don't have a choice than to reciprocate the value you bring to the table. But if you're just waiting for someone to love you back equally, and you're measuring if they love you as equal, you will fail as a man. It will never work. That's too much energy that you don't have anyway. That requires too much energy.
Because that could be a criminal. Anybody who interacts with assassins, gunmen, is a criminal, male or female. So we need to understand that the social space is
He just insinuated that his ex-wife interacted with assassins and criminals. So, but we're gonna. It sounds like an insinuation there, but let's keep going. Okay.
polluted in Nigeria. I'm a resident in Germany. My family also lives in Nuremberg. You don't put everything out there. You just don't go on air and post anything. So when I hear people say, it's my right, your right to abuse me, to give me a wrong image.
He's going somewhere, okay?
And sorry is all I get for it.
It's a new era. You need to learn how to manage the social media space. It's not enough to complain about it. Okay, that's where you start from. You're a normal human being. Sure, you should complain, but there's more to that. Okay, it's more that you need to do, especially if you're a person of status, or caliber, and you're going to attract attention. You need to be prepared for how you handle that. You can curse them back out, or you can ignore them, but your emotions getting caught up in this, it's not going to work.
Somebody needs to regulate our social space.
No, that sounds like Desmond, like my uncle said, somebody called him Desmond the idiot. That's not going to happen. We know where you're heading at. What you're suggesting is silencing people. Because if you regulate it, anything in life will be regulated. It might get regulated, as a matter of fact, and I'm up for it, right? But I'm telling you right now, he's not looking for regulation, okay? He's just looking for people to help him scold the people that were basically bullying him when he was going through stuff. And that's not enough, okay? You need to hold yourself accountable. How could I move a little bit better? Just ask the questions. I'm not sure if you have an answer for, but just at least start with asking yourself that question. Let's move on to this next one here. Let me see.
People like Iyabo that are there to back them up and say, hey, yes.
Iyabo don't collect to.
Your experience as Iyabo might not be the same thing.
The same thing is applicable to all these men you grouped into one thing and say you feel sorry for them. Each individual of those men will have to have their own skills around their own individual experience. The same thing is applicable. But I'm guessing because it's personal, you can't see that you just contradicted yourself. I'm just saying, okay? I'm not going to feel sorry for saying what I say because I see all of the empathy. Some of them are going to come and say, listen to man. Listen, I just listened. He went through something, but where are the lessons? Okay, where are the lessons for the rest of the public? And all these young men that are now saying, I will never marry because I heard Emeka Ike's story. Bro, you shouldn't have been trying to get married in the first place. You should not have been trying to get married in the first place. If this story would trigger you so badly and you called off your wedding that's about to come up in March, you're not competent for marriage. You should never go into marriage until you fix that. And it's not Emeka Ike's fault. It's something about you, right, that got triggered by this story and you were not ready in the first place. And no, it has nothing to do with all 98% of women in Nigeria. No, it's you. It's you now. Like, who you want? I be the one. It's you. It's you. Stop the cap.
Constant battery. I'm like, what? Kids, do I beat your mother? No, daddy.
So you went to the kids to ask, kids, do I beat your mother? Just to prove to who? To the mama or to who is around that you're proving to? Because this was supposed to be on the tabloid from the sound of things. But somehow you went back home and you're saying, kids, do I beat your mother? There's more to that story that it's not telling us. There is more to that story. And I heard that Freeze earlier, he was going in the direction that I'm going right now and say, hey, he wants to hear the other side of the story. The Emma, something like that. The ex, right? But then he ended up like, that's why you should not marry somebody who is less than you. No, that's not the solution either. That's not the solution. If you got married to a person, no matter how low you think they are, you married your equal. You attracted that person. You married exactly where you're supposed to marry. You got exactly what your value is in the marketplace. And now, if you want it to be better, is what are you giving into that? What value are you bringing onto that table? You, man and woman, both of you, what value are you bringing to that table to make it better? Like, what are you doing? right? Until you've told me what you're doing, forget give and take. Until you've told me what you're giving into that relationship, you're probably capping big time. Okay, it has nothing, because he mentioned he sponsored our through school and all this kind of stuff. You know, in one breath they will say it's only jackpot people that go through that. In the other breath, this man sponsored this girl, through, pregnant and all, through school, and now he's talking about it now today, right? And say he did everything. Let me play. Maybe I will play it later.
I built for you in Lagos.
There you go.
It was nothing. Alawade, I built for her mother.
There you go.
In Isoko, 3-bedroom, I built. I trained you in school. I was in Yaba Tech. My friends, some of them are deans of faculty in Yaba, in Unilag and so many universities. I just took her there, give her admission. And I changed her life. Made her a teacher. Put her into school part-time. They say,
I changed her life, made her a teacher.
This one is pregnant too. You don't feel like jam. It's okay, that's why we're here. Drive any car you want. The Prado, the Touareg, any of the Infinity, any car you want, just have fun. You're a big man.
When a man lack game, there's nothing he can do. In fact, some of them are going to feel offended with this video. There's no doubt. Now, there's no doubt he did everything he just said. But this is what I'll be telling you about Mr. Nice Guy. You gotta be careful with them. Okay? They're waiting for reciprocation. Okay? If you don't reciprocate in due time, or somehow your way of reciprocation is not hiding up, auntie, you go collect it. I did this, I did that. I believe you did everything. The question is that, what have you not done? Right? If you ask that question, there are two ways to ask that question. It's rhetorical, right? Which is, I've done everything. It's a statement. It's not really a question. Or you ask that question to authentically find out, what is it that this person can't have with me? Is it listening ears? Is it a non-manipulative husband? A non-controlling husband, right? What is it that is the need of this person? Forget all those psychological terminologies. What is it that this person need from me? Why are they married to me? Right? Because his advice is that if you marry a person who doesn't like you as much as, that's a terrible advice all day long. If you're measuring how much you like the person against yourself, terrible. It will never work for you. You might as well just pack it up. That marriage will never work. Because you're that cerebral about your relationship, you're not having a good time. It's already bad. It's already bad. Right? Don't you get it? This is mindset, mental, psychology. Right? If you have to ask all those questions, it's already bad. If you have to wonder if they like you just as much, because that's what the other person said. The person, let me see if I can find that comment real quick. The person that said they call off their wedding, I'm like, Baba, you should not have been trying to get married. That marriage would have failed regardless. See, nobody's saying this anywhere, right? The reality is that marriage would have failed. How do you know it would have failed? Because you are measuring who likes who the most. That's a competition. That's not a marriage. Don't you get it? And I never see anything. Never see anything. I'm telling you. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. Okay, yeah. Minutes after watching actor, look at this, check this stuff out. Minutes after watching actor Emeka Ike recent interview, Nigerian man reveals that he's putting his wedding on hold. That man should not have been getting married. My wedding is March, some bright guy, next year. But after watching this Emeka Ike interview for 4 times, he watched it 4 times. That means there's something you are connecting there with, and it's with you. It is not Emeka Ike's fault. Ike is telling his own story, which is also generalizing, and is going to mislead a lot of men. But that's not his fault, because it's not your father, right? You're supposed to know this already. Well, maybe not. But you don't know what you don't know. Just because you don't. Ignorance is not an excuse. Anyway, I'm putting it on hold. That word, investing in someone who isn't investing in you. Why are you investing in someone who isn't investing in you? Who you don't already feel they're investing in you, even if it's just how they bring you peace of mind? Why are you investing in that kind of person? Even if all they bring to you is their looks. If you haven't identified this is the reason why I like this girl, why would you be marrying that person? That is still your fault. right? Loving someone you don't know if you're being loved in return is enough for me. Yeah, Baba, you should not be getting married at all. So somebody said here, guys, do not marry. Women of this generation are not like our mother. He said, go with it. He said, go with it. Shout out to Emeka Ike. You're really helping young men. Okay? You're really, really helping them. Shout out to Emeka Ike. Really, really helping men in 2023. Let's see. Let me see this one.
Man's wife. And that's all I got for it. You want just have fun. You're a big man's wife. And that's all I got for it. Because I was investing on someone who wasn't investing in me.
That wasn't supposed to be a someone. That was supposed to be a wife that has children for you. There was something wrong with that relationship. I didn't say it's your fault. Something else beyond the fact that they just didn't invest in you was wrong with that relationship. There's more to it. There's more to it. That was your wife with children. There was more to the story than you're willing to share. And that's fine. But to just come out and act like you're now teaching men, a lot of women didn't even catch that part. They were just like, oh, we hear you. Oh, I'm so sorry for what you went through. Which is fine. We should empathize with him because a man going through that will break him. I believe him that he went through depression. But that is not also, that is not mutually exclusive from the fact that he did not have the necessary skills. Just like majority of people trying to do marriage today. They think it's about right and wrong and fairness and competition. Right? Do you not hear that in his rhetoric? I was investing in somebody who was not investing in me. Whose fault is that? Right? Whose fault is that? I don't know. It's a question that I want to know your thoughts around this. Let me see. I think there might be a couple more here. Let's see.
Yeah. Does she like you? But if you not talked about your security.
Your security.
Does she like you? You know, so that's just it.
Baba, don't do marriage for now. Okay, you've done it before. It's okay. Leave it alone. This mindset will not work inside of marriage, oh. Not from the man's side, oh. Woman wants security. Okay, they crave security. It is what it is. You're looking for security. I'm guessing it's just a misuse of word, maybe the choice of words or something like that. You're looking to secure. Man, as a man, Baba, you're supposed to bring that to the table for everybody. Okay, and naturally she will follow through. If she's not following through, you also have the autonomy and you just get rid of her. But we're not talking about your like we haven't even gotten to the point where we talk about you have the freedom to get rid of a person who's not giving you security. We're just gonna say she didn't give you security.
So no apologies. She's hiding, running up and down. She saw my post last week. I was like, okay, fine. Someone said it was on the. I saw a post last week. He said, Emeka is having fun now after his ex with the new South African wife and that and that and that. After he divorced us, I didn't divorce her. I went to make my claim. I didn't divorce. She went to divorce herself. She said, Governor George, please divorce me. I have to go. I said, Kilo Day, where are you going? I was on my knees.
Oh.
Felix Duke was on his knees. My sisters were on their knees in court. The people that came with her to court were on their knees. Are you okay? What's wrong with you? We didn't understand what was going on in her psychology. But she was so restless. And if you read that...
No, he's telling us a little bit more. Let's continue.
I was always saying she looks blackmailed. So when you're a lady and you're dealing with gunmen, it gets to a point when they take over from you.
So
you feel like it's not entirely her fault? She was being controlled.
Her fault because she got herself into that corner.
There's so much more to say. I would like to hear the other side of the story too, like Daddy Free said. But there's more to it. Okay, I can tell you some things involved in here. Pride is involved from his side, okay? Just from the way he talked about, he did this, he did that, he did that. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but it's a double-edged sword. It can work against you, but also skills, And it's when it comes to his expectations, there's not much I picked up when it comes to expectations. But pride and skills, he definitely lacked it. Okay, especially with the advice that he just gave this young man, asking them to be seeking out security from women. I don't know what he meant by that. At least, I don't know. Make sure they like you as much as you like them. That's a competition, bro. If you have to ask that question and you're not experiencing it, it's already bad. Okay, it's already bad. And if you find that you're the one attracting 1, 2, 3 women like that, there's something about you that you need to pay attention to. That's what I'm saying.
I wasn't working with people who would take her life. So the moment I start doing that, she know that something could twist. You understand me?
Yeah.
So it's a whole lot of confusion out there. Even as it is right now, 10 years she's been out of my house. And then last year she came, boom, when I was in Germany, I just went to arrange my kids' papers so they can move on.
These CEOs started with nothing. But they didn't just climb the ladder.
I shut down my stardom. Like I told you, depression made me, I shut down. Like I had to focus on my family. I noticed a lot of lapses. I said, okay, man, forget the stardom stuff right now.
Yeah.
The kids.
Okay.
I was able to bring them out of depression and build them. Yeah. But right now she's in their possession. I don't know where else they are. I can't see my kids. For 2 years. They are hiding from me. Their phone switched off.
All right.
I don't know. So it's a world we are finding ourselves.
All right. One of the best things that he said in this interview is, I don't know. Let's start with that. I don't know. There's a lot more that you don't know than where your kids are. There's a lot more, And I'm not saying it's his fault at all. That's not what I'm saying. But all of those things are things that can be studied. So you can avoid, a lot of this is avoidable. A lot of it's avoidable, And the only arena in life where we say these things are not avoidable is in marriage and relationships. We're just disrespectful to marriage and relationships. We don't think there's anything to learn or study. Like it's just all God. But every other institution, every other aspect of our life, we study it. We get to the bottom of it. But in this one, we just throw our hands in the air and say it must be somebody else's fault. The reality is that that's not true. There are some skills that you need to learn.
Yeah.
But we know that God will see us straight.
Emeka, first I'll say that you've been through a lot. The stories I did not expect to hear as much.
Crazy.
And, I can tell that you're in a better place right now.
Oh, yeah.
And, I just really hope that eventually...
He looks drained after giving that. Just look at him. He looks drained after... I think he's thinking through and it's like, maybe I shouldn't have, like he's still going through it. That's how I feel from just listening to him. He's still going through it. And there's a lot more than he can control, that he realizes. This young man, no, they're going to have to go through their own journey. Warning them against 98%, he didn't say that. If he's going to throw a number, he might say 75%. It's just all about money. He said the narrative is all about money. That's not true. Okay, for certain types of people, yes. For a whole lot more than other countries where they don't have to deal with hunger, yes. Because that's the natural. But to just pretend like there are no good men or good women out here still, no, you have to look at your circle and change your circle. Change something about you. If you keep attracting the same people, it's you. Okay? Now for Emeka Ike and his personal story, I'm sorry he went through that, but there's so much more that he did not share with us as a fact of life. And those lessons, the real lessons that should be learned from his story, were not shared. Okay, the lesson is not I feel sorry for young men. No, it's not. Okay, that's not the lesson. I'll tell you one lesson today. If anything ever happened to your family, make sure that you go through the necessary healing, so you don't come back and be telling us, I did this. Even if you did it, I did this, I did that, I paid for school. If you're finding yourself doing that, you have not healed. It will haunt you. It will continue to take too much energy. Every time after you finish narration, you will feel drained. What's the solution to that? I don't know. All right. Let's start. My mother told me that a long time ago. Let's start with not being so eager with controlling the urge to tell any story that looks like pointing fingers remotely. Just, I know it's difficult because you want to hold another human being accountable, but I think the priority should be to hold yourself accountable, and without making it about it's your fault. No, it's not about being your fault. It's about how do I make sure I don't repeat the same experience again. If it's that bad, that question needs to be answered. It needs to be studied. You need to remain a student of it. And if you're going to teach anything to anyone, that's what you should be teaching. And the rest of it is probably just going to attract a bunch of misery love company type of people. They can't wait for somebody to say something they can relate with, and that's all that is. That's all we can get out of that, you know. Anyway, I want to know what your thoughts are. What do you think? Do you believe him? I believe him. Do you believe him? And do you think there are any holes here, or do you think what would you like to learn more from his story that you think he did not share? I want to know what you think about that. All right, hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Beautiful girl, sparkling night, killing thing. I find a beautiful girl. It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.